There we go. I'll tell you right now.
Hold on.
No.
Let us know if the sound is on.
No, the sound is on.
All right.
The sound is on. Sound is on. Like I said, welcome everybody to Two New Podcast. The thing is here again. So for 2 weeks.
Everybody relax. The show is going to be good this week.
But we have a special guest with us today. A very special guest with us.
Very special guest.
From the town of Mormon. No, I'm just joking.
From the Mormon town of Utah.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Average Boys Podcast, Chris Ponce.
What's up? How's it going? What is going on? My dudes, the extraordinary listeners. What is up? How you guys doing? It's good to be here. Thank you guys for having me, man.
Oh man, we were on the verge of gonna get you on here soon, later on, maybe in about a couple months, but today's the day.
Yeah, man. You guys hit me up. You hit me up the other day, and you were like, "Hey, man, short notice. You want to be on the show?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude. Why wouldn't I want to be? This is gonna be fucking great. It's gonna be fantastic."
Oh my God! First and foremost, I want to say thank you to all our sponsors. Actually, our sponsors downstairs, the Gallery Cactus. Thank you very much for sponsoring the show. Your commercial should be up hopefully next week already, so we'll get that up and rolling by next week. But guys, let's get into it here with Chris. Man, Chris, tell us where you're from and how are we doing on this podcast? Talk to us.
Good. Well, first off, I want to say, man, you guys got a great studio setup.
Thank you very much.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
When I do you've seen it before. Our podcast is all internet based.
Yes.
It's all basing off of the Corona style.
Hey, I like it, man. It's fun
doing
to watch.
Doing the flow. The only thing we got to spend money on is like the crazier cameras and lights and shit to make ourselves look pretty. But I'm an ugly dude, so that's all right to go, man.
He feels your pain.
So my name's Chris Ponce. I come from I reign from Edinburgh, Texas.
There you go.
I'm an Edinburgh boy. Family's out from San Manuel. We moved to Edinburgh very young. I am a CDH survivor, congenital diaphragmatic hernia. When I was born, which means I have a scar on my stomach here and 2 holes in my side.
Oh wow!
And when I was born with like 48 hours to live. And the surgery's like 70, only lived to like the age of 13, 15 years old.
No shit.
So I was a miracle baby from Driscoll Hospital.
That's awesome, man.
Wow.
Congenital diaphragmatic hernia, known as CDH, is a very rare birth disease that what happens is you end up having a hole in your diaphragm and all your stuff floats like upwards. So like your intestines and all that come upwards into your lung.
I didn't know that.
So they have to cut you open, take everything out alphabetically, put it back in. And
holy shit.
Yeah. So it's a pretty rare disorder at birth. And then, of course, it affects the child all the way through life. And there's different severities of it. Some people, all the way through their lives are affected by different stomach problems or the diaphragm itself floats. And they have to like staple their stomach and their organs to like their bodies and shit.
Wow. You learn something every day here. Wow.
Yeah, I have a couple of my friends that I reach out to people that have the same condition. And like for myself, I was fairly lucky. Like, I suffered as a kid when I was younger.
Right.
But I did a lot of sports and I tried to live as normal as I could.
Right.
With whatever my body would contain. And, martial arts kind of kept me going and all that good stuff. So I try to get back to the community in that because there's a lot of kids that don't get that opportunity.
Right.
So, I try to, the parents are the ones that, of course, suffer just as much as the child because, the existence of life is a very important thing. Just the opportunity to exist is super important. Yeah. So, like, I try to just give hope to as many of the young and all that stuff like Aiden and Stephanie and all those people that are out there. I don't know if they're going to watch it, but they're from upstate and stuff. But yeah, man, that's kind of like a hidden secret about myself. I'm a martial artist. I teach at Bad Boys Boxing Gyms in McAllen. What's up, boys? My boys are training right now as we speak.
That's awesome.
They better be training.
They better. Wednesday, Thursday's dedicated to Thor. So we call it Thor's Day. So it's all the training and all the heavy workouts and stuff like that.
Better be rolling with Milner right now, damn it.
Yeah, dude. And then I actually own 2 huge hammers of my own that are made of metal and stuff. You guys would be proud.
I feel you right now, dude. Yeah.
What else? Of course, I run the Average Boys podcast. Yeah. Started it back about, I want to say 4 years ago. We're about 170 episodes in. I'm burping all over the place.
Fuck you, Red Bull.
A shitty sponsor.
Fuck you, dude.
Man, I'm
shout out to Red Bull.
Shout out to Red Bull for fucking up my interview, man.
Gives you wings and gas.
Give me some Prime.
That's why it gives you wings, man.
Give me some Prime. Shout out sponsor Prime. like I said, I run the Average Boys podcast. We're a comic, film, movies, video games, you name it, we cover it. Anything that's in the nerd process. We're very much the villains of posers. People who come in and act like they know some shit. We usually, got to reteach them.
Yeah, it's funny to watch because I've seen, man.
I get mad, man. I get fucking livid. Dude.
Brian's a character, bro.
I love it, dude. I love Brian.
I don't watch that many podcasts as much as I should, but when I stepped into your world of the podcast world, watching it, dude, it was fucking hilarious because you're talking. First of all, if you step into their podcast, man, homeboy here, Chris is really a Metal Gear fan, huge Metal Gear fan. He has the tattoos. Man, don't show the titty.
Yeah. Not show a nipple, man. Shit, OnlyFans.
And there's only one OnlyFans on the show.
Yeah, that's his.
That's right,
he shows his leg.
Yeah.
So
put wax on my leg this week.
Yeah, prosthetic leg. So, but they were talking about Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, the collection.
And
Brian.
Brian's face is just like. You see his face like, bro, let's just get over this guy.
Brian is like, man, I'll never touch that game. That game looks stupid as shit. And I'm like, I get it. It's a very winded game. It's got a lot of shit in it.
Yeah.
It's a fun game as fuck, though. Once you get involved, it's very 007, very like espionage, like right on the cusp of like video games in that like genre, right?
Yeah.
And Brian's like, nah, I ain't having it, man.
And then he's all like, all right, but I just have. Are you gonna buy it?
Buy it though. It's because I'm a big fan. So he's like, oh, Chris. Even before we started the show, he's like, oh, dude, did you hear? Like, they're gonna make a collection. Aren't you excited? And I was like, all the conspiracy, the Kojima, Konami, them falling apart, them fucking him over at the award ceremony. All this shit came out, and I was like, nah. Well, you know what? Like, for what they did with Metal Gear Survive, I'm kind of worried. There's this and that. And Brian was like, oh, I didn't fucking care about that shit. I just want to know, like, are you going to buy it? I'm telling you, I'm excited for you because they're bringing this shit out. And I was over here fucking just talking. And Brian's like, well, are you going to buy it or not? I don't give a fuck.
That's when I took the honor and the liberty to actually put the hashtag,
but are you going to buy it?
So that should be a huge hashtag
for Metal Gear
and for their podcast now. So
you'll make a shirt hashtag. But are you gonna?
That's gonna be awesome. So go on about your podcast. You have Brian on there. Who else do you got?
We got Brian D from New Jersey, and the reason why is because he's from New Jersey. And we got Trigger. Trigger's a good friend of mine, Michael Jacob Dudan.
Yeah,
he's been in the podcast from almost from the very beginning. When we first started off before the coronavirus, I had a good friend of mine named John on, and we just call him. Well, John, shit. Yeah.
Bob.
Yeah, pretty much. John Gaitan, Johnny, good kid. He wanted to go off and do his own thing.
Right.
So he bounced, and I was there kind of isolated and by myself. And when that happened, I hit up Triggs, and I was like, yo, like, we talked about, I had told him a long time ago, like, hey, man, this is when, dude, I'm talking like when Ramsey opened up Kaboom Comics.
Okay.
Like that long ago.
Okay.
Like in between the cusp of him being MagX and Kaboom Comics.
Yeah.
Right? And I was, at the time, I was dating a friend of Trigger's, and that's how I met Trigger. Mm-hmm. And we would just hang out because we knew comic books a lot. Like, we talk comics. Like, the only dude I could, like, talk some shit about comics.
Right.
I make it sound like it's got a whole hard life. Like, comic books, what's up?
What's up?
Yeah, it does.
Not.
All right.
Yeah, not anymore. But now it does. Apparently it does. Not back in the day, when I was in high school, man, people were like, come on,
Marvel, put a Marvel.
Nah, not back in the day. Back in the day, no, you were cool back in the day, dude. You're slanging some drugs and shit, and Iron Man comics.
Spawn comics, motherfucker.
Yeah. If you read Spawn back in the day, you were hardcore, man. Yeah. Like, that was the dude. Well, Triggs, I told my friend Julian and George Yanes, those guys used to work with Slim and the boys. I don't know if you remember the old biker shop that used to be on 495 over there and going towards Mission.
Oh yeah.
Like right when you're going into like that placita where like not Gorilla George's, but like there used to be like a fucking Funtime Pizza.
Okay, I know where that is at, but
like it was around that area, going towards Sherryland on Mission or from McAllen to Mission.
Okay.
And they used to have a biker shop where they used to do like choppers and all that shit. We used to be tight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had approached them all a long time ago, and I was like, oh, dude, let's start a podcast. And this was like way like when it was like super niche to do something like that.
Right.
And they were like, I don't want to do that shit, man. Fuck that. No one's gonna like that shit. Like that's stupid. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Like nobody thought it was gonna blow up as the way it did during the coronavirus situation. So yeah, I told Triggs, I was like, yo, I'm gonna make a show based on the everyday guy, like all of us, what we love to do. Like that's it. Like just some average dudes doing some average shit.
Yeah.
So that way, someone when we argue with them in debate, they can't be like, well, you're not a professional. Well, no shit, I'm an average guy, like just like anybody else.
Exactly.
I just happen to have a passion for it, and that's all it is.
Right.
So that's why I kind of named it The Average Boys, but I put it with a D because we had joined a radio station, and everything was the Devil's Lettuce sponsored like idea.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was like the Dab, you know what I mean?
Puro
DAB.
CBD.
And I was gonna name it Tab, and I was like, no one's gonna get the Coca-Cola reference. I'm gonna get that shit. I'm the only old dude that drinks Tab and shit.
I love Tab.
I love Tab,
Tab
dude.
is
It's
like
so
my
refreshing.
favorite grip, man.
I swear those guys still use cocaine in the 90s, dude. Fuck, that's crazy, dude. Tab was good. Well, I don't think anybody was gonna get the Tab reference, so I was like, nah, if I do Dab, all the kids were doing all that shit from like all the fucking memes and shit.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, it might work. But it like after I did it and I set it up and I was like, yeah, like I was like, who the fuck is gonna get "duh" as the first part? Everybody's just gonna go look up The Average Boys.
Right.
And then it just so happens there's a dude who has a show called The Average Boys, like with the TH, but it's like
so
The
you
Average
did with
Boy.
So you did. With
No,
it.
so I beat
Yeah.
the fuck out of him. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah,
Yes.
he owns
Good.
it. Yeah, it's just a little kid. Yeah.
Yes.
Ugh.
Represent. No.
The street, bitch.
No, so what I had to do is I just tried to get it out there more, get
Right.
it out there to the public, and I initiated this idea that I approached the convention, which was of course Ramsey, and then I approached other conventions too,
Right.
and I offered them the opportunity to have a third-party interviewer without the convention interviewing their guests.
Right.
So it makes the guests feel more valued because it's just not when they go to a con and the con goes, hey, we're going to do some interviews with you. The guy shows up and he's wearing their shirt. The person already knows, oh, you're just doing this to cut a promo or whatever.
Exactly.
But when you have someone else from the outside coming in and interviewing them, they feel a little bit more valued. Like, oh, someone third party cares that I'm here. You know, okay, cool. We've had this opportunity where they brought us to shows, have us set up a booth, and then we get to interview all the guests.
That's something we, as far as the Roundtable Studios, we wanted to do something like that for the con this past year.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, we couldn't actually get it to the point where we want to do it because some of us work and some of us we didn't have time for it.
Hard.
So I'm hoping maybe next year we get something where we can get a booth, not only for us, for as far as the studio, but all the podcasters to pitch in to get one booth.
One
and
booth and stuff.
everybody can, share it
Yeah.
in some sort of
but
way.
that's true. There is a big movement right now. There's a bunch of creepy motherfuckers that go to conventions, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of
You
dudes
don't
that are
say.
like, well, I'm a photographer, but they just do weird shit, and there's always like a lot of problems that are popping up.
Yeah.
A lot more recently that I've seen online,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I think that sooner or later conventions are just gonna have to kick up and be like, okay, cool. Well, if you want to walk in with a camera and take pictures that way,
Yeah.
you're gonna need to get a media pass. You're gonna need to
Yes.
do all this stuff,
No.
and with
Yes.
that comes a lot of responsibility. You're
Yes,
gonna
it
have to
does.
prove you're an actual photographer, which means you got to have an online portfolio,
Yeah,
some type of website where you show your work. It can't be
Right.
like, let me take photos and then not post up photos anywhere.
Right. Yeah,
Especially,
it'd be
especially
kinda
with guests at cons, if
Yeah.
you want to guarantee their safety,
Yeah.
everyone should have a credential.
Yeah.
If you're just going to be some schlub with an iPhone out there,
Yeah.
well then you sit your ass way in the back or something.
Exactly.
The Valley's always 10 years behind when it comes to a lot of stuff in business and all this other stuff.
Right.
A lot of
But-
stuff. So a lot of people don't know how like bigger conventions handle the opportunity to even be
Yeah.
guested as a photographer at conventions.
Mhm.
I have a friend of mine, my friend Georgie's from Laredo. He literally gets invited to San Diego Comic-Con and all this other stuff.
That's kick-ass.
But he has to have like 10,000 followers. He
Mhm.
has to have a certain amount of pictures in business that he runs a year. He
Mhm.
needs to prove these things before he
He
gets
gets
the
invited.
opportunity. Yeah.
Right.
Which
So,
is
like-
which is only fair.
Which is
Yeah.
unfair. And then
Yeah.
they hire you as a photographer, and then you work for San Diego Comic-Con doing all their photos, videos, and all that stuff.
That's
Mhm.
awesome.
That's a
man.
really cool opportunity,
Yeah,
but
man.
it takes work. It's
Yeah,
not
it
one of
does.
those things where you're like, I bought a camera for photo one
Yeah.
at UTRGV, and now I'm a boudoir or a fucking photographer taking pictures of chicks.
Terry,
and-
Hire me.
Yeah,
Hire me.
Let me
Remember
let me
Terry
charge
creative
you, girl.
photography? You
Yeah.
can't be doing that
Damn,
shit.
girl,
at
you
the
look
con.
good in a pair of underwear. Let me get some photos of you and shit. Two
What
fucking
am I gonna get
weirdos,
the
man.
negatives? No one said anything about negatives.
Well, I didn't say you
Nothing
were
about
get any of these photos either.
So I mean, we were talking about Titan Radio. Well, right before we
RGB
jumped on
Titan
the
Radio.
you,
My boys.
you started off there in
Mhm.
particularly, and how I know you explained what was your show recently about? Was it what you're doing right now, or was it something totally different?
Yeah. So what happened with RGB Type Radio? Shout out to Fred. Shout out to the boys and stuff at RGB Type Radio. We love you guys, man. Thank you for the opportunity you guys gave us. When we first started off, I was asked by a friend of mine who ran the THC, Octavio Perales, who is Oki. We call him Oki. He ran the THC show, right?
Okay.
And when we went on his show, he kind of brought me on because he would do an artist spotlight.
Okay.
And I'm a mixed martial artist. I do a lot of tinkering. I do graphics design. That's what I do professionally.
Right.
Advertisement, content creating for people, building their online presence and stuff. Just like every other person out there that's freelance. Right?
Yeah.
I got a camera. Let me fix you up. I'm throwing shade at everybody.
That's the end of the show, guys. Watching
But
there it goes again.
Yeah, he approached me and was like, "I'd like to bring you on the show, talk about philosophy, martial arts, all that good stuff."
Right.
Yeah.
And from there, Fred came up and he's like, "Hey man, you did real good. Like you did fairly well on the microphone. Like, have you ever done this before?" And I was like, "No, but I used to do stand up comedy with Raymond Horta a long time ago, about 2.5 years, and I was like fucking connected to him at the hip." It was almost like he was my dad, like umbilical cord. Shout out Raymond, my boy. I love you, buddy. And he got me started on being on the mic, being comfortable. I mean, I've never shied away when given the opportunity. Of course, it's battling with your brain to be able to come up with content on what to say on the spot, which is probably the hardest thing. But once you get comfortable, it kind of like just flows once you got that confidence in you. Yeah. So that's some advice for you.
There you
content and podcasters.
We'll charge you $4.95 just
next
for that.
Time, get a part of the fucking join the fucking summit or whatever.
Both shows to get more advice.
What if the content that comes spewing out is not family appropriate?
Well,
I mean, that becomes different.
That.
Yeah, that becomes different. I mean, I always tell people, like, it's okay to be honest and open and be yourself. Like, you don't have to wear a mask for anybody. And if you cuss and you're inappropriate, you just have to be aware that you have to deal with the consequences of your actions at that moment. Exactly. So, like, if I come out and I cuss, I wouldn't want that to reflect on what they do on the show here. I want that to reflect as who I am as a person.
Yeah, the cool thing is that he has we can cuss in the show, right? I go,
I wanted to, because I'll do all PG. No, I'll do dick jokes all PG.
Oh, now choose like really?
These scientific words up in here, boy.
All right, would you eat a dick or throw in a cake? Or
oh my God!
First question.
For those of you who watched the podcast, one of the first episodes we had here, second episode we had here at the podcast, we had some cigar people. Shout out to those guys who came on that episode. And the question was that I got a question for y'all.
The question for the ages.
The question for the ages. Okay, what is it? So he goes, you got two choices. You can sit on a dick, eat cake, or sit on a cake and eat dick. Which one would you do?
Wasn't that kind of the same thing?
I just walk out of the room. God,
you ain't going fucking nowhere. Answer the question.
What kind of dungeon are you guys in?
This guy goes, do I have to know the person? I go, what the hell are you talking about?
There's ramifications here, dude.
What is the cake taste? What
flavor
the flavor is it?
Actually, I asked.
You're really going detail here, Chew.
I asked if it was kosher.
Oh, shit.
Anyway,
I never got a response.
At this point, we're thinking of religion. Because at that point, religion is.
We really want to make sure. We don't want to piss off anybody.
I want to make sure when I make it to heaven, God doesn't go, man. Really?
What religion is this cake?
Yeah, kosher. That's awesome.
Anyways, back to that. So
answer the question.
Answer the question.
You know what? That reminds me of that fucking meme, man, where the guy goes, if I offered you $1 million to, and the guy in the back goes, I'll suck a dick. Whoa, I didn't even finish. I wasn't even gonna ask that. I'll suck that guy's dick. Whoa. I wasn't gonna ask something else. Jesus Christ, dude. Bad people are just so willing for $1 million.
Just that same million, like that.
I'll get in a submarine. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Oh, dude.
That was yo, I was so, I don't know if you guys saw my shit. I was livid, man, on how many people were tearing into that guy's life.
God,
my whole thing was like, the kid, like I felt bad for the kid.
Yeah.
And then everyone was like, well, fucking 250,000. I was like, yo, dude, that's any rich person that goes and does some random shit because they have the money to do that. But like, if you had $250,000 to spew at anything, what would you do with it? I told my friends, if I win the lottery, I'm gonna buy all my friends' RVs. Like, that's all I'm gonna buy my friends' RVs. Why? I don't know. I just think RVs are cool.
I just don't understand.
Top of the food. You're gonna be like RVs. What the fuck?
I just don't understand. Why would you go to that depth just to see a
submarine, well, a ship that already fucking that I can watch on television.
Exactly.
More to the point, why would this guy drag his kid who did not want to go?
I mean, because then I heard about that too, right? Which is a couple days later, where you find out that the kid only went because of Father's Day gift. Like he wanted to just make his dad happy, so he didn't want to be there.
Right.
I mean, but the thing is like, okay, the coolest thing I heard was from James Cameron, right? The director of Titanic.
Yeah.
He's been out there a million times.
Mhm.
And there's even videos of the same submarine out there doing the same trip that they've done 20, 30, 40 times.
Yeah.
It was just a situation that it would eventually happen.
Right.
So we just didn't know when. It's just
A 1 in a million shot, pretty much.
A 1 in a million shot.
It's the same thing with these SpaceX. You know, one of these days, God forbid, one of those capsules is
Donnie Darko, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
the motor just falls on.
It just falls out the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Well, that's new.
And-
Fuck, is that titanium? Is it titanium?
Yeah, God, that might make a fit.
That's where that bulk
Put it on
goes.
sell it.
Pretty
Facebook market, dude. Fairly used and shit.
Beat the Broco 956 so we can promote it. Oh my God.
But like, James Cameron said, people's appetite for thrill is different.
Yeah.
You know, some of us have gone parachuting, bungee jumping, and all that other stuff.
Right.
When I was younger, going to California, doing some stuff, bungee jumped and got to pack my own cord, which doesn't sound smart as fuck. Yeah, because
that's not good.
I can't make brisket.
Yeah,
but I can pack a bungee cord.
I can't tie my own shoes anymore, dude.
So that.
But let me pack your shit.
Yeah.
Your parachute.
But I can't cook ramen, but I got this motherfucker done.
Fuck yeah.
It's one of those things. Like you end up finding ways to continue the thrill without having to put a fuckload of money into it.
Right.
A lot of people are making fun of the fact that the dude was using a Logitech remote control.
Yeah.
If you know engineering or robotics and stuff, that's fairly common. Yeah. And the thing is the way I looked at it on the outside was this guy was trying to find a way to create a camping endeavor. Yeah. Underwater. Yeah. It was just making it personal. Right now, I mean, fuck, I laugh at it all the time because we're going to have the same situation happen with the drone transportation units they're making, like where they got like drones. They're using drone motors, right? Yeah. Motherfucker, those guys are gonna die so fast, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I fly drones hobbyist wise, so I do acro and all this other stuff. And I'll tell you, like we fuck drones up every day, like every second. Like there's no way these guys are gonna go out there and just be like, oh, I'm gonna get to San Antonio today safely.
No. Somebody's fucking baby monitor is gonna screw up the guidance on that thing, and it's gone.
Yeah, it's wild, man.
It's insane that they would.
But the thing is if people don't take those, that's the expedition. That's the life of an expedition person. Yeah. I told people as the argument, and I was like, well, when was the last time you saw a broke person find something that revolutionized history or an expedition or, something into the future? Broke people don't get to do that shit.
Right.
Like, and I'm not saying that, it's not nice to be broke, but I'm just saying like you need money to do expeditions and do things like that to be able to be successful with it.
I don't know. There's something thrilling about whether not knowing if you're going to be able to eat tonight or where you're going to be able to sleep.
Expedition.
Yeah, that's an own life expedition.
How am I paying the bill today?
Yeah. Well, we're going to find out.
How many hand jobs in the park and shit?
Well, Chew takes 3. But
how do you know? How the fuck do you know?
I have heard.
When's the last time you saw my YouTube
video? Go to our YouTube.
Yeah, I bet you've heard.
It's there.
He's got YouTube.
Last time your boyfriend was in
He calls them pranks.
Oh, we don't talk about that.
He calls them pranks. Give this guy a hand job for pranks.
No,
why am I getting swatted again?
Not like you don't enjoy it. Anyway, so on your podcast, the subjects that you go, the whole genre that you go through, do you all talk about this before you go on?
No, it's kind of like the way it is.
Or it's just
like the way we literally come on the show Friday, like kind of like the way it was today. We get there about 30, 40 minutes into the room that we provide.
Right.
And then we're just like, hey, man, did you guys hear anything this week? And we'll just go from there. Like, we don't really try to research it because we all in our own individual way have our knowledge based on it, right? So I'm really big into comics like themselves.
Right.
But the thing about me is my general idea is I don't think it was a bad idea for them to try to take the comic book structure and make that directly into film. And the reason why is because those stories on those pages are, when we read them, they're masterpieces.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that reading it, understanding it, liking it in structure of that way, being a masterpiece, it's already done. So when someone comes in, some snobby kid that's never read comics comes in and goes, oh, I'm going to direct a film about it, I've never read it. I'll read it for a couple bits, and
right,
you know,
right.
and they're like, oh, but I'm gonna throw some flavor in it because I think I'm bigger than that. That's like someone coming and getting Mickey Mouse and changing it completely and being like, well, I'm bigger than that character. But we celebrate that character's birthday that doesn't even have a real life.
Yeah, I got you.
So those characters themselves, they're bigger than what we think we are.
Right.
So when you bring in like a James Gunn or a Taika Waititi or even a Sam Raimi, when they come in and they come in confident as themselves, knowing that they themselves have a thing that they follow, it doesn't work in that genre because those characters already have something that's already been laid out throughout all the history. Like your grandfather knows Captain America just as much as you know Captain America, and it's the same
dude.
So
you hit around the money. One of my favorite Marvel characters.
Yeah,
Cap America, man. He's the golden boy, man. That's like the one that we all looked up to and wanted to strive to be like. He's the grandfather.
Yeah. I know there's other ones that go Superman bound, but I'm more of a Captain guy, man. For some reason, I don't know why.
Yeah, no, I mean it's because it's embedded. Okay, so I've told people this before. The reason why the DC universe struggles more than the Marvel universe is because it's two different themes of comic book storytelling.
You're right.
The Marvel comic book is you can strive to be like those characters. Spider-Man was made to be very reminiscent of your personal life.
Right.
Acne, girlfriends, you know, growing up, hating school, and all that stuff. And all this stuff.
Yeah.
The DC characters are God amongst men. They're pedestal characters. You cannot, no matter how hard you try, when you say you want to be like Batman, someone will tell you can't. Because Batman is just that much better than you. Right. And you're like, well, nah, dude, like I'm gonna work out like Batman. You'd be like, well, you don't got his money. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah,
there's always like a weird like you can't.
It's
for
like
Batman.
like a fine line.
But Iron Man, people would be like, oh, dude, you can be just like Iron Man. You get cosplay and you dress up and wires and shoot shit, and everybody will think you don't have to be the billionaire philanthropist millionaire. You don't have that. You don't have to have that for Tony Stark.
Right.
But for Batman, you need that shit.
Isn't that interesting that they don't seem to get that is that Marvel's characters are all gods?
Yeah. Well, DC's characters.
I'm sorry. Yeah. DC's characters
and Marvel's characters are so down to earth.
They're
and
all
relatable.
Down to earth. Yeah,
they're super relatable. So like when you make a story, like that's what made Winter Soldier such an amazing story. And then Civil War was good, but Captain America and the Winter Soldier still to this day is like top of the line storytelling in comic books.
I still know a lot of people that comic books I've never dove into it, but on film I still know a lot of people that just didn't like the fact that he was given a second chance
for Captain America.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, but it's a story. It's a great story because it's a man at a time. It's a story of men.
Okay, I got my wife here commenting because she's a big DC fan.
Okay.
And she's saying you don't need any money to become Iron Man. Okay, that's what she says. Tony Stark is richer than Batman.
No, I don't think that's true.
But remember,
you were talking to somebody who knows. So I mean, touch that with a fork.
But you see, like that's cool because she understands like that. There's a certain amount of wealth that someone can attire or acquire. That it's kind of hard to gauge who's on what.
Right.
See,
just remember, Iron Man, Tony Stark, he made a suit of that Iron Man suit with nothing. He didn't make it with billions of dollars.
Yeah, billions of dollars.
He made it with
stuck in a cave.
He was stuck in a cave with a box of scraps. Remember that.
Where Tony Stark is richer is the idea on how he uses technology.
Yes.
Like that's his gift, right? He's a techno savvy god of the Marvel universe. Where Batman,
Bruce Wayne could easily make a suit of armor.
Yeah, but it takes him a while. It takes him a while. It takes Alfred a while.
Yeah, there you go. Alfred should be the superhero.
Yeah, dude. Alfred's the dude. But yeah, like it's a good point. I mean, but in general wealth, I want to say that Batman, because of the Wayne family itself, is more rich because they deal where Tony Stark is by himself an individual entrepreneur. He's gained his kind of like Elon Musk, but it's like Elon Musk versus the Rockefellers.
Well, I mean, it's the same. His father was the one who actually,
invested
in all that, and eventually he got the whole, I guess, the shebang of it more. Yeah. So I mean,
And then if you think of like the collection of sources in the comic books that Batman has acquired in his like years of collecting things like based on like kryptonite and the sources of material and stuff, he's probably more richer in that stuff compared to what Iron Man does, which is he just collects alcohol. Like he just gets drunk all the time. Right.
I don't know. I kind of like Iron Man's prep time more than Bruce Wayne's prep time.
Dude, I fucking hate Batman's prep time, dude. Fuck Batman and prep time.
Yes, all Batman needs is prep time. That's it. That's it. And you're done.
Can't keep Selena Kyle happy, dude. Get your prep time priorities in order.
Can't keep a girlfriend for shit, man.
We're gonna take a commercial break. We're 30 minutes into the podcast. I got some more questions and I got some interesting stuff. More about Deadpool.
Oh, nice.
A little bit of Deadpool. A little bit about the new. I'm not sure if it's the new cast of the new Hulk movie. I saw some previews to that also, and of course, you got to talk about the main trailer that's been out there left and right, where all the ladies are going crazy for
Barbie.
Barbie. No.
Barbie girl.
No. If you know what it is, trust me, you're gonna enjoy it.
Are you talking about Craven again?
Yes, we are talking about Craven. Here we go, guys.
Bucha Bar for life. The Bucha Bar and Tap Room, located at 308 South Texas Boulevard, Westaco, Texas. Give them a call at 956-520-7111. Speak to Noe. Come check out their great meals, all vegan based, and let me tell you about their pizzas. Oh my goodness, they are to die for. And also, they carry muffins and buns ready made for you guys. And you cannot go wrong with their specific tacos. They're great, trust me. I guarantee you'll like them. And while you're waiting for your meal to come out, get yourself some fresh kombucha from the tap. Bucha for life. Put your immune system on the right track. Let's go. Are you having minor setbacks on a law issue? Maybe a car accident recently? Or something a little bit more serious? Or it could be something going to bankruptcy. Give Efren Molina, attorney at law, a call. They will go through every step of the process to figure out exactly what can be done and done by the book. And he'll be with you every step of the way until the judge makes his final verdict. Give the law offices of Efren Molina a call at 956-391-2754, located at 113 West Zambrano Street, Edinburgh, Texas. And you're only a phone call away. The Rabbit Hole, located at 2900 West 6 Mile and a Half Sweet Beach in Mission, Texas. If you're looking for liquor, beer, CBD products, or even smoke products, hell guys, they even have tattoo supplies for you. And last but not least, adult novelties for everyone and every occasion. Set up your party and give these guys a call at 956-599-0103. 956-599-0103. The Rabbit Hole. Only the best for all my best.
Ooh. Looks like your windshield just got hit. I know it's heartbreaking, but don't worry. My guys at the DNC Auto Glass got you covered. Let's get you informed on how we can save you time and money. Then let's get that damage repaired. It's important to inspect your glass for chips and cracks regularly. A small dime-sized chip on your windshield does have major potential to grow into a large crack that can obstruct your vision. This type of damage does require a full replacement. You might want to save yourself the trouble. Repairing one small chip before it spreads into a crack takes about 5 minutes and only costs a fraction of what you'd be paying for a replacement. Our team members are trained to inform you on how to get the most life out of your glass and are dedicated to providing top quality repairs. So, don't stress, don't delay. All you gotta do is snap a pic of the damage and text it to 956-314-9149. Tell them Chew and Ooh sent you. Again, that's 956-314-9149. Fast, affordable, quality service backed by lifetime guarantee.
Barbershop, located at 2718 South 23rd Street in McAllen, Texas. If you're looking for the best shop in town, let your hair do the talking. Fast, fades in no time. Straight shaves, straight style. All about you. Try a different style. Always fulfill your expectations. Because at Hipsters, your satisfaction is our goal. Rowdy Pools, located in McAllen, Texas. Rowdy's pools are made to impress. Take your swim experience to the next level. And also at an affordable price and installation. Each pool is made with top-notch quality for every occasion and also for your family. Rowdy's Pools, design, built, and service. Beady Weedy's Michelada Mix is back. Sponsor the Chewy New podcast, guys. This drink is the one. If you've never had a Michelada in your entire life, this is the way to get it. Right with Iris, man. She has all these great flavors, like my favorite, pickle and extra lime, man. This mix has not only gotten really excitedly great, but you can pick it up at any of these locations, guys. And trust me, once you get the first taste, just like this guy, you will not put it down. I guarantee it will change your taste buds forever. Petey Wheaties, bro. Look her up on Facebook, Instagram, and on Snapchat. Yeah!
Back. And thank you to all our sponsors, man. We appreciate it. Going thick through thin, even with this ugly mug next to us. And
You're
still
the
paying
reason
us.
why I am drinking Coke instead of RC. Thank you. Tab. Oh, I got Tab at home. You don't. I'm not worried about that.
Columbia Candy.
Still from the 80s and shit.
So we're talking a lot of stuff right now during the break, man, and some interesting stuff. And yes, baby, you're still watching. I mentioned the end game, how you thought it was kind of stupid with the whole Gamora and Black Widow.
How dare you?
So,
Who do you think you
but
are?
I got a great explanation for you, so stick around because you're going to find out. But first, I want to dip my toes into the upcoming new Deadpool movie.
Good shit.
Oh my God. It's finally going to happen. We're going to have Deadpool and Wolverine in the same film.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fucking people in that same film. There, I'm
This
excited.
is like 15 years too late, in my opinion. You know,
Okay,
that's
I
just
can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was, of course, it was during the Fox separation from Disney, so
Yeah.
they didn't really
exactly.
have the rights. And I've always told people what Ryan Reynolds did for Deadpool was like what Blade did for the Marvel Universe back in the
Yes.
day. Like it saved
Yes,
the comic book
absolutely.
industry.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds saved the Fox industry and saved like the overall justing idea of what the possibilities you can get away with comic books.
Oh, I'm touching myself tonight.
Because
Yeah.
of course during that time we'd always done I always call them like the Disney adventure superhero stories,
Right.
which is like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. You had your Fantastic Four back in the day. You had your X-Men, which we were talking about earlier.
Right, yeah.
All of those were just like very cookie cutter, very blank man, kind of like
Well,
yeah, you remember?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, the only
They're very cookie cutter, man. They're very
shut the fuck up, dude. How long? How many years have you been waiting to say that, dude?
For a while.
And
For a
then
while now.
Meteor Man was the other one.
Oh,
Meteor Man.
And Meteor Man was actually a Marvel character. He came out in a different Marvel multiverse character
Yeah,
stories.
yeah.
So he's a Marvel character.
What was the
No new
Rob,
shit.
Townsend? What was
Yeah.
his name? Townsend?
Robinson.
Yeah, man. Oh my God, dude, that like massive throwback right
Yeah,
now.
I'm telling you, Howard the Duck. Everybody name it. I got it.
dude. Yeah.
Those comic book stories were very Ninja Turtle cookie cutter. Very like
Right.
good guy comes in, introduces, finds a damsel in distress. You know, the hero's journey. And in
Right.
the sense of writing stories, there's this thing called the hero's journey, which is like there is a climax, a failure, and then a comeback story, and then
Right.
the overall conquest, and then they become the heroes.
Right.
And those stories back in the day did it. You saw how they did it, like in Fantastic Four 2 with Chris Evans.
Mhm.
He accumulates all the characters' powers and fights the
Yeah,
Doctor Doom.
yeah.
And it's and then of course Silver Surfer comes back and then goes against Galactus in the end and
Right.
saves humanity.
Oh,
and
by
all
the
that
way,
stuff.
that was Galactus in that movie.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a big tub of shit in the
a fucking piece of
fucking
shit.
stain on
that was-
fucking Marvel for the rest of his life.
Oh,
Shit,
my
dude.
God.
Can you imagine how much fear it put into all the fans later on that when the Eternals was being made and they were talking about being the Celestials, everyone was like, well, I hope they're not giant clouds in the sky. And I was like,
Yeah.
jeez, the trauma,
Yeah.
dude. Calm down,
Yeah.
guys. The trauma.
Yeah,
Let people
it's
be
just-
creative
Dude,
artists.
the trauma, man. I remember
An
seeing
amorphous cloud is approaching the planet Earth. What will we do?
and there's a dude in chrome paint coming
Yes,
on a
there's-
fucking naked on the
There's a
surfboard.
naked chrome guy.
Bro, did you
Just-
ever see the unreleased movie of the Fantastic Four back in the 80s?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
like that's like the Ninja Turtle thing.
Yeah,
Dude.
that
Yeah, it was bad.
That
I
was
was like,
terrible.
wow. Even
That was
Doom was bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know,
it
it's
was-
trash, dude.
It was like a
I-
comic relief.
That was
bro.
like that first part when they did Captain America, the old 80s one on the bike, the motorcycle.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
saw him up close and you realized it was like a rubber mask
Yeah.
and the fucking eyes
You
are
are-
pulled back and he looks like he's cross-eyed and shit.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man, dude, I was like, this is This is what we get. This is all we got right now, guys. So that's where I come in and I say, hey, you know what? Like these movies may be shit,
Yeah.
but I'm just happy to be alive.
Yeah.
Because like dude, that's cool. Like even though they're shit, they're way better than that. Like at least we're getting way better than that.
That was kind of the feeling when you first started seeing these new Marvel movies, like when the X-Men first came out. Like it wasn't great, but it was awesome to see these characters.
At that moment, it was the greatest shit we got.
Yeah, like Ang Lee's the Hulk. I mean, what a piece of garbage, but I mean, I still like seeing the possibilities of the Hulk.
Though. I love that the Eric Bana one.
Yeah,
but the one that was he was so cartoony.
Yeah,
he was so cartoony, and I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, I just like the fact that they showed you how when he becomes angry or he gets bigger, because that was the way.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And a lot of the other comic, like the way it is now, it doesn't show that. It's just he just gets big.
He just gets angry.
Speaking of, we went over the Deadpool, but speaking of that, that's another thing I want to step on, the new Hulk movie that's coming out.
Oh yeah.
What are your thoughts? I mean, I freaked out when I was looking at the lineup. They are bringing the old Hulks back. I saw that they're bringing Bana.
Scar looks like he sucks.
And then they bring him back. What's his name? Norton.
Edward Norton.
That's
going to come back.
He got fired from all that.
Now I saw that Harrison Ford is on the cast now, man.
Well, he's going to be Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah. So Thunderbolt Ross ends up. If you're somewhat of a Hulk fan in history, we do know that the Thunderbolt Ross turns into the Red Hulk.
Yes.
So that's always a big thing. A lot of people don't know the story of the Red Hulk, but they know that there is just generally a Red Hulk. And when he becomes angry or he becomes overheated, that's the red skin. So he becomes like he's on fire. So
yeah, I've always been a big Hulk fan when I was a kid. I was at the age where the Lou Ferrigno and Bill Bixby was the shit. When I first saw that, it blew my mind, you know.
Yeah.
Somebody getting that angry, turning that huge, you know. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
It was such a cool way because you knew the comic books and how they went.
Yeah.
But to know that was like Ferrigno when he was like all dressed up in green or painted in green, were like, holy shit, that's a big dude, man. Yeah. I didn't really I never realized how real big that guy was.
Yeah.
And such a gentle giant.
And to see him run away and see the white on the back.
See all the paint flying off and shit.
I was like, wow. And
well, that's why he wore the booties.
Yeah.
He had green booties on.
And I like the fact that they did give him homage in the newer movies, and they always brought him back.
Yes.
And he's such a gentle giant, and I've always been a big fan. I'm a huge Hulk fan.
Yeah, so am I. Huge Hulk fan.
I am. The only thing is, like right now, it's cool because we did hear recently that they did acquire the rights to the Hulk finally, because Universal Studios is financially hurting and they're in a situation. I always thought Universal should have just played games the way Sony's playing games and just allow them to use them openly and then still acquire that money and still get from it a little bit.
Right.
I've always been a fan of that. You know, Fox and Sony just give Marvel.
They can get their money from it.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll get more than their money out of it, and it'll be fine. The fans will get what they want because Marvel knows what they're doing.
And even Mark Ruffalo that came out, he was like, "Man, I want to do a Hulk standalone film, but Universal doesn't." You call them out and be like, "They don't want to play right. They don't want to play."
And it's crazy, man, because I mean, when Bana came out after the new Hulk movie came out, I was like, okay, it's an okay movie. I didn't like it, like you said before. We're talking during the break. It was too cartoony.
Yeah, it was cartoony.
But I like the fact that every time he got mad, he just freaking got bigger.
And the other thing that I like too is when he was fighting all the military tanks and helicopters. That scene was fun as hell, man.
Yeah.
Watching him run through the desert and then like throwing missiles and that was so Hulk being seen in real life.
Exactly.
Yep.
Where like you look at the newer movies and like the Eric Bana movie, and it's so much more of a relatability with the character that it kind of like overshadows. Where you look at the guy that becomes Abomination.
Yeah,
he's more of an interesting character that you're like, that dude's cool.
Yeah,
because of his actions.
Right,
because of his actions.
You get to understand his motivations.
The Edward Norton guy's just crying. That's how he's doing it.
And that's what I'm saying. It was weird because I know in the first one they did play homage to Bill Bixby on that one, and then the second one with Norton. I mean, you saw it. He was kind of playing that part.
Yeah.
But the thing is that it didn't work out for him because he wanted full control of the movie. He wanted to change this and that. And
that's why he got fired.
He got fired. Yeah. And then when they brought
Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, when they brought Mark Ruffalo in, I was like, oh God, this guy's
gonna bomb it. Not happy.
Yeah, I was like, this is gonna bomb it. And he
knocked it out of the park.
He freaking hit
he did
the
an
park.
amazing job.
Yes. I like the smarts on it.
His delivery is really
His
good.
delivery was really good. And now that this movie's coming out, it just I'm on all like, dude, I'm expecting the best Hulk movie ever, especially with Red Hulk.
We see, but like with me, I'm on the fence, and I've always been on the fence about it because during that time, since Marvel didn't get the rights to the character, they wanted to find a way to envelop the Hulk character throughout the entire story, and we saw that in the She-Hulk show. She-Hulk show. They were like, oh, well, here's my son, you know.
Yeah.
Now
That
that's part of probably one, if not the biggest Hulk story ever, which is Planet Hulk.
Right.
And then it goes into World War Hulk. But the problem with Planet Hulk now is they gave that entire story to Thor Ragnarok. And Thor Ragnarok used that entire story, but they made Thor the part of Hulk, and then they just put Hulk as a gladiator, which is one part of that story.
Right.
It's a big part of it.
It's literally the gladiator movie with the Hulk in it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because there's a guy called the Red King.
The Red King.
He's the guy that's in charge of Sakaar, and he has a girl that's
He's
his
Jeff
bodyguard.
Goldblum in Thor Ragnarok, by the way.
So that would be Valkyrie. Valkyrie's character in Thor Ragnarok portrays the character that Hulk falls in love with and marries and becomes his wife in the comic books.
Okay.
But the thing is it's just like Russell Crowe's Gladiator. Like he has to go through the gladiator arenas. He befriends these group of people called the Warbound,
right,
which are a bunch of like his friends. They revolt against the king. He finally kills the king. They find out the king was using, I want to call it like, I think it's like Deadites or Dead something, which are like these zombie-like characters that are parasites that get into people and turn them into zombies.
Yep.
And the Hulk, like, he kills the king, banishes him, and becomes the king of the planet. And then, of course, like, he's running the planet. He has his wife. She's pregnant. All of a sudden, the ship he shows up on, which he was sent there by the Illuminati.
Which is what plays out in the She-Hulk when he just fucking leaves.
Where he just takes off. Yeah,
where
just fucking bounces out.
takes off.
Yeah. And that's the thing is when the Illuminati sends the Hulk off planet, he wakes up and sees the video, and it's Tony Stark explaining to him, like, hey, man, we're sorry. You're just out of control. Like, you fucked up Manhattan. Like, you did a bunch of shit, and you're never in control. So what we did is you're the one that always says you want to be alone. Hulk wants to be alone. We found a planet. It's got animals, no people, no life.
Right.
Just go leave your fucking shit out and leave us alone.
Right.
And in that process, he gets mad because his friends sent him, and he doesn't want to be alone.
Right.
He likes his friends. He just wants them to acquire to him when he wants to.
Right.
He's
Someone
a petty
said,
bitch.
someone made the interesting point that every time the Hulk wakes up, he's being attacked, which is pretty fair.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair assessment.
So like I would want to be left alone too. If every time I woke up from whatever, I'm being attacked.
Well, imagine if the Hulk was here and we invite him on the podcast and he puts his cup down, smashes the cup, and then fucks the thing up downstairs. You're gonna be like, dude, fuck this guy. I don't want him around.
Yeah.
So your friends
Fair.
are gonna be like, dude, like we like you, but we don't like you at the same time. Like, and then the Hulk's over here like, well, you guys just don't understand me. I have trauma, and it's like, no, bitch, like you're fucking up our shit.
Well, wouldn't that be our problem, dude? I mean, the Hulk's gonna Hulk, man. I mean,
yeah, but I don't want him to Hulk on my couch if he's fucking up my house.
Well, then don't invite him
I
over.
would want the Hulk on my toilet.
I'd be like, Hulk in the alley, bro.
Yeah.
Hulk out like everyone else outside the
You know,
alley.
if you got a big steaming pile of pancakes on your table and the Hulk shows up saying he wants your pancakes, guess
he's
what?
gonna fuck your roof up.
Yeah, he's gonna get those pancakes one way or another, dude.
But that's the way it's been, and that's why people they can't work with the Hulk because the Hulk is just a giant baby.
Yes.
You know, that's all it is.
Right.
I mean, he's a loving character. He wants to help his friends, save humanity, not hurt people, take care of the little guy. But in the process of him taking care of the little guy, he fucks the little guy's house up.
Right.
And the little guy's like, well, thanks. And then he's like, that guy doesn't appreciate the Hulk. And it's like, what the fucking shit, dude?
Oh
like,
my God.
So that's the whole thing is the Illuminati's like, hey, man, look, we love you. You've been an Avenger. Like, you stopped the fucking Chitauri. You did all this shit. But, like, bro, you fucked everything up. We're going to get rid of you. So, like, they fucking shoot him off base and they fucking shoot him off planet. And in the process of him in that direction, he fucking gets mad and knocks the ship out. And that's when it lands and detours in Sakaar, right?
Oh, okay.
But there's like a whole spiritual, the green Sakaar is gonna come and fucking save the planet. His blood's gonna nourish the sand, and it's like Dune and Gladiator all together.
Oh shit!
So,
spoiler alert for the ending, though. The ending is like the most in the comic.
Well, dude, I won't ruin the ending. But what happens is the ship he shows up on, the nuclear core of it, which is like super strong, blows up, destroys the whole planet. Now that doesn't ruin the ending.
Nice.
Yeah, because and then that's what establishes the idea of when the planet destroys and Hulk and the Warbound are the only ones that are left, and everyone's dead, including his new wife, which he's never had before in his entire life.
Right.
He's like, yo, fuck Earth, dude. Like, fuck those guys. And that's what gets Planet Hulk.
Yeah.
And now Marvel, being that Thor Ragnarok happened and it was an Asgardian story and it was fun and the Hulk fights Wolf and punches Surtur and has a good ass time, comes back to Earth. There's no World War Hulk. There's no mean.
Right.
He's on She-Hulk.
Yeah.
He's having the fucking time of his life, you know, fucking drinking fucking margaritas in Cabo or whatever the fuck he's doing, getting played out by his fucking cousin who's doing better than he is.
No shit. Yeah.
Leaves the Sakaar, comes back. He's like, oh, I got a kid. And it's like, and then they're like, bum, 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 coming next, Planet Hulk, World War. And it's like, bro, what? Like, what the fuck? What's he mad at? He stubbed a toe? Or like what did the world do to the Hulk that's going to make him be at the vibe of like,
like how is he going to become World War?
Yeah, World
World
going to make him
Hulk.
that mad. Dude.
Yeah,
You know, World Breaker Hulk is
Yo, he got his fucking shit pushed in by Thanos, dude.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
no kidding.
Dude, like he got his shit pushed in.
No kidding.
And instead
With
of getting
authority,
mad,
dude.
he got scared.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
That's never a thing, dude.
Oh, shit. My bad. Big shout out to our number one fan here, Louis. I tried blocking him, but he keeps coming back.
No, geez,
Yeah,
sorry.
I bet he's outside right
Here
now.
we go,
Isn't he?
Louis. Amma! There, you
Yeah,
happy?
yeah,
Big
there
shout out to Louis, man.
Nice, dude. Shout out, Louis.
Oh, my God.
And if I can go off on another tangent, I hate what Taika Waititi did with
Thor: Love and Thunder.
yeah. Thor
Oh
Love
yeah,
and
I
Thunder.
shit on that movie every day.
He
Shout
fucked
out
that
Brian.
shit up
Shout out
so
to my
bad,
boy
dude.
Brian D. He loves Taika Waititi, but fuck that movie.
Yeah, dude.
I
I mean,
ain't buying that movie.
he ruined Gore the God Butcher so hard,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah,
Like-
when we got, you can go back again on the podcast. I cover this shit all the time.
Yeah, I know.
When they brought the first pictures of Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher, I was like, yo, they just painted him white and put a robe on him. Wow, how's that Gore? Like, and everyone was like, bro, they don't want him looking like Voldemort or some alien. And I go, well, I mean, that's the whole fucking character.
Right.
If it was just an Earthling from another planet, it's just an Earthling. It's just Christian Bale being Christian Bale. But if you change his image and make him an alien, like it gives you that vibe that the world is bigger, the universe is bigger. There's more threats out there than just a Christian Bale with some scarring on his body.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Christian Bale did an amazing job, but for that purpose of making him work with an idiot like that during that movie, that's what makes Christian Bale not want to come back and be Batman. Like, that's the thing. That is the exact thing. When you fuck up characters and you make the stories bad and the movies bad and the characters and the artists are connected to it, that's what makes them not want to come back.
From the studio that actually made Josh Brolin into Thanos, made him an actual physical threat on the film.
That was amazing.
For them, what they did with
Thanos
Christian Bale, who could be amazing as the character. You know,
Gore the God Butcher, it resonates throughout the entire Marvel universe in the Thor story.
Yeah.
Like that affects him so much that every time he looks at his hammer, he knows he's not worthy.
And if you guys notice, I'm so quiet, dude, because this is all educational for me, man. This is what I love. What you're hearing or watching is what his podcast is all about. It's so interesting because you get lost in the fantasy of it. You can you see it in your mind. You're like, damn.
And that was the whole purpose of the podcast.
It's fucking amazing.
When I was younger, everybody used to have this. I hope if you didn't, I apologize. I don't want to make you feel like you're ostracized or whatever. When I was younger, my dad and my uncles and everybody used to sit around and barbecue, drink a couple beers outside, and us as the chavalos, we would all run around.
Yes.
And when they would start talking about like, oh, this one time me and your uncle, we went out to the Deerleys and we were out there for 4 hours and we thought we saw a light in the sky. Like, I would sit there and I would shut up, and I knew for that moment I was in awe of storytelling.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to bring to this table. Like, that's what I've always wanted to bring to the podcasting here in the Valley. When it comes to comic books, there is a realm that when I was younger and still to this day, and anybody can say I'm wrong and be like, nah, you're wrong about it. The numbers don't lie when it shows that comic book sales are at an all-time low. So I know motherfuckers out there aren't reading comic books still. They've always been low. There was only certain times that they pick up, which is when an epic happens or a number one is being released that a lot of people want to buy. That's the only time it happens. Other than that, people fall off. And I get it. It's reading. People don't like to read. They like their information 1 minute at a time. That's the algorithm and stuff like that.
And
but
why bother reading when you can just wait for the movie?
Even on the whim, that was the Harry Potter time.
Yeah.
That was the Twilight time.
Right.
Yeah.
There were a good amount of people who sat there and went through all 7 of those books, or all 3 of those books, or 4 of those books.
Right.
And then everybody else that just got up and watched the movie, the readers would always be like, "Man, you're really missing out.
Yep.
You're really missing out." And we've heard it before.
And my wife is one of those. She did read all the Twilight books, and when I took her to go see the movies, she's like, "Oh, they missed this, they missed that." And I'm like, and it's funny because I kind of contradict myself on that too, because when there's movies, superhero movies, I'm like, well, they forgot this, they forgot that. Bro, it's a movie, just enjoy it. I go, yeah, but you're missing the main point here or in that. And so that brings me to the question my wife has been hounding, which is the Avenger, the last 2 episodes of the Avengers, which was
Infinity War and
Endgame. The whole thought of what we said about Gamora and Black Widow, about time continuum, multi-universes and all. She just said it's the most stupidest movie she's seen.
That's true.
Yeah.
And she's like,
your wife's a very intelligent person when it comes to storytelling. And I'm going to say that out loud because the fact is, like, for me as a reader and as a person who loves stories, I don't just like them, I love them. I like them when someone embellishes me with a great story.
Right.
You can appreciate it more.
Right.
You can see the art, you can see the work that they put into it. When you put time travel, unless it's like a Back to the Future that its main purpose is the story of time travel.
Right.
If you have a movie that just uses it as a tool, they fuck the idea of value of life up.
Right.
So there's no more consequence.
Right.
So like if Tony Stark dies, what was the first thing that you said? Oh, well, they can just go back in time and fix it.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So and that's the thing is, like, now the studio does that. So when they do fuck ups like the way they're doing now, they can just be like, oh, well, we can just say, I even heard this the other day, which is fucking stupid, and I hope it's not true. That right now, the reason why it's like this is because there's going to be a reboot of the Marvel Universe after Secret Wars. And the reason why is because this is the timeline when the Hulk brought everyone back. And the reason why all the females are in charge is because everything focused on bringing Black Widow back. So all the female heroes are all the prominent characters in the Marvel Universe.
Holy shit.
And I was like, that's stupid as fuck.
Yep.
Because now they're going to go to Secret Wars, fucking end it, and then reboot and be like, now we're going to do Tony Stark's life. And I'm like, bro, why fucking waste my time with all of this when we just want a coherent story?
Right.
I don't need a coherent story and then some weird ass 15 years of extra bullshit and then another 15 years of all the characters dying of old age.
Iron Man makes money, dude.
Yeah, that's the purpose.
And
I mean,
you know why? I mean, it's like with Black Panther. They're yes, of course, they're going to go with Shuri or Shuri as the Black Panther for now.
Yeah.
But you know, as soon as enough time has gone by, they're going to find another actor to play the real Black Panther.
Yeah, of course.
They're going to reboot it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just the way the studios think.
And that was such a crazy time in Marvel that I think that with all the way that they treat their universe, when Chadwick Boseman passed away, it was such a gloss over on the way that they handled it because they're just like, oh, we'll just do whatever we can with her sister, and then we'll just stuff. And it's like, yes, that's a part of the comic book. When T'Challa dies in the comics, he then goes to Necropolis, which is the land of the dead. He becomes the king of the dead through Baal, which is Bale, or what's her name?
Baal, Baal.
The goddess
of the underworld.
And Shuri does take over, and then Black Panther comes back, and Storm at the time is helping Shuri out to get not Chadwick, I was gonna say Chadwick Boseman back, T'Challa back.
Right.
But then Storm's not introduced yet at all in the X-Men, right?
Nope.
So that's a huge part of the world.
That's another
she was
one.
supposed to get married to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She's supposed to be.
And that's another case also that my wife has brought up, you know, the whole X-Men versus the Avengers and all this mix of, you know, all these multi-universes now, and it's like a bowl of spaghetti and you don't know how or
well, that's where the
start.
multiverse comes in.
That's where the multiverse,
just like in DC too.
That's where the multiverse is going
to be. The multiverse is so important now. All of a sudden,
yeah, exactly.
But the thing is with the introduction of the multiverse, if they don't use all their assets at once,
right,
then it kind of doesn't make sense, right? So, like in Doctor Strange, they brought in the Illuminati.
Yeah.
Whoa, the Illuminati, and everyone was like, "Fuck yeah, the Illuminati!" And I'm like, why are you excited if you don't read comics? Like, it's cool. Like, you just fucking, like, you hear it in, like, some way.
Right.
But if you don't know the purpose behind the Illuminati, it loses all its value.
Yeah.
If it's just like, oh, the Illuminati's here, there's this character, here's a can of Red Bull, here's a fucking cup of Play-Doh. Like, they just put a bunch of random shit.
Yeah.
Then you're just like, okay, the Illuminati is at face value the Illuminati because of a name.
Right.
But if you're not understanding that every character represents a certain race of humanity, and all of them make huge decisions for the course of humanity without humanity knowing they're going to do something.
Right.
And Captain America's totally against them and wants to fucking arrest all of them. Then you're kind of like, oh shit, if Cap's against it, then they're pretty fucking evil. They're pretty evil.
Just to put a little parentheses on what we're talking about. The Illuminati is a group. 3 members of the Illuminati are actual kings of countries.
Yeah,
that's how important these. That's why when you said that
it's Tony Stark, Reed Richards, Black Bolt, Namor. And then Namor leaves and joins fucking the Cabal, which is Thanos' group.
Right.
Then you have Captain America, who then leaves. Doctor Strange is there. Charles Xavier's there. It's everyone that represents a certain race or parameter of human life.
Right.
And what these people, even T'Challa's there. And so when T'Challa brings them, he hates it. There's comic books where he's like, I have to bring in a man with no life, a man with no dignity, a man with he's literally calling him out. But he knows that they're going to make. That's like during Secret Wars, Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars, which is what Secret Wars, the movie and film, is going to probably be about since they're introducing incursions and things like that. When they bring it together, it's literally like planet or multiverse versus a multiverse. So when they show up, they only have, I think, like 9 minutes before they have an incursion, a collision, and then both universes destroy.
Right.
So then what they end up doing is one universe comes in and the other universe comes in, and then they're Avengers versus their Avengers, and then they fight it out and then destroy that entire planet, and then that one gets to remain in the multiverse.
And if you're watching or listening, I feel like a little 5-year-old dude. I'm enjoying. I'm like, it's like being young again and hearing my tios talk, man, about stuff. And
that's the whole thing.
And that's what I love about Chris and his podcast, man, because you can sit there, and I was telling Jew, he goes, you watch his podcast. It starts at, I believe, at 7 o'clock, 7:30.
Yeah, we actually start at 9 and we go till 11. Yeah, we start at 9 to 11. It's a 2-hour show. Yeah, usually 3 hours, and we'll take it all the way to 12 hours.
And I'm sitting there, and my wife was like, "What are you watching?" I'm watching the Chris. I'm watching the
you're watching these guys talk about shit while trigger drinks.
And I'm sitting there, and I'm watching them, and we're talking. And I'm sitting there when she's making food or something, I'm just watching you guys. And by the time I'm like, 1 hour passes by, they're still going. Badass, okay, cool. And I'm listening. By the time we know it's already 12 minutes, I'm like, shit, that's 3 hours, man.
And we're still wanting to go, man, because it just, it excites us.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, bro. Like with the Secret Wars part, the thing that makes it such a crazy situation is the invasion, the incursion happens, right?
Right.
In our universe, the 616. And all the Illuminati's there, all these main heads, like I said, Reed Richards, Charles Xavier, Black Panther, they're all there.
Right.
And they have this box that was given by a person that was going around killing the multiverses so that different multiverses that they wanted to survive will stay. And it's a box that just blows the whole planet up. Billions of people in an instant. So like it's Tony Stark and he has it and he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. You do it. And he passes it over to fucking Black Panther. It gets to Black Panther. Black Panther's like, I'm going to go home. You guys doing this shit. I'm going to just be with my people because that's all I want to do.
Right.
It finally gets to Namor, and Namor's the motherfucker that's like, yo, I'm about this, bitch. Like, let's go. Boom, and fires it. And that's when the entire Illuminati was like, you're a piece of shit. Yep. And Namor himself was like, this is survival, bitch. Like, we're here to survive. And if you guys can't hang, I'm going to go with Thanos and his group because they're just going around having fun killing people. And he just joins them. He just joins Thanos and the Black Order, and they just go around fucking killing planets.
Yeah,
it's a party, dude. It's a fucking party for him.
They're like standing there because they morally decided that, you know what, it's time to die.
It's time to die.
It's time to die.
They were all Jim Carrey. They were all Jim Carrey on that island. I don't know if you ever heard about that. Yes. They were all Jim Carrey when he's just like, well, I just sat there on the beach when all those nukes were coming in Hawaii. And I was just like, I'm okay with this, man. It's been a good life. Like, what are you gonna do? They're gonna fucking volleyball that bitch, huh? Like,
this has been fun.
Whoa! Fucking Uno card and shit. No, it's not gonna work. But
boom. That was it.
So that's kind of what it. And in the background, Dr. Doom's going out there just being a hoss, like fucking getting all the powers and getting everything together, creating a universe, and doing something that Reed Richards couldn't do. So that was a whole other part of Secret Wars that makes it an amazing story.
Yeah,
and I want for that to happen because there's some amazing parts in the Secret Wars series. Man.
You know,
that's the excitement that you see in that podcast right there. Right there, we just saw it where he just like he's at all. He just can't wait That's what I feel when I watch the podcast.
And you know what? Like, I get excited, but like for me, like the story Love and Thunder, like that was I like that story. I really like the Jane Foster becoming Thor story, because again, when people tell me, nah, gender character, nah, role character that they're making females, tell me right before that what Thor was fucking doing in his comic books. Right. He wasn't doing anything. The reason why you're important and the reason why you care is because that movement in Marvel, when they did that made you care. That was like Captain America, Hail Hydra. Yeah. National news. Everybody was like, fuck that. You can't make Captain a Nazi and all this other shit. But what was he doing before that? Tell me in the comic books what he was doing. You didn't give a fuck about him. No, you didn't care what's in Captain America. Nobody was caring at that moment in time what Captain America was doing. Once he said Hail Hydra, you were like, invested. What do you mean? What do you mean? People in CNN are like, oh, fuck, I got my Captain America pillow. What the fuck? I've been a fan my whole life. It's like, bitch, please. Oh, my God. But that's the thing, is they have to make big moves like that to make people care about comics. Yeah. Right? So the Secret Wars comic that Jonathan Hickman created, where the old school, and I know that people know that there's 3 different Secret Wars, or 2 at least. The one where Spider-Man gets his black costume, which is like the big splash page where he's all in the black costume and all the Avengers and X-Men around him. That was one story that was created that Marvel was working with Hasbro, and they wanted to sell toys. So they were just like, yo, we need all of these characters together because we need to get people to buy this toy line. And they were like, okay, cool. We'll make a series. We'll put the Avengers, Captain America, Fantastic Four, all the villains, and we'll make all the toys, and we'll sell some shit. Right. Yeah. Where now that they have the Secret Wars with Jonathan Hickman, he came in and he was like, yo, we're about to make some shit happen. And it is wild, man. It is a wild fucking ride. It is beautiful. Dude. You guys get a chance. Rob Jefferson, Comics Explained. Yeah, he has a YouTube channel, and he has like a series that's like 7 episodes. He explains the whole Secret Wars, dude. Yeah, look, just look for like, it's like a 3-hour marathon. Yeah. Watch the whole thing, dude.
It's like watching his podcast.
Yeah, you will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed. And you'll be totally ready for Secret Wars. Totally ready for Secret Wars.
Guys, we're going in an hour and 7 minutes. Dang, dude. I mean, it's just, I don't want to stop. It just keeps going, man. But I knew bringing you in and letting Chew here with you, man. Because I mean, I told him you're gonna love this guy. I got no one to talk about
these things
with. That's the purpose. And I know there's pocket nerds out there. I'm with you.
This is why I'm extending an invitation for you to invite him on your podcast. They do it by video, Chew. So it'd be real easy.
I already have my own virtual telepresence.
Hell yeah, we're gonna bring you on, man, for sure. Yeah, she'll bring you on Friday.
Because I know
about that live.
I know he would knock it out of the park. He has some great stories. I know he's very intelligent when it comes to stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I
also have some controversial opinions. Like, I prefer the animated versions of the characters too. Because they're not. The live action versions. Sometimes they're just not willing to go there with the character. Like Thanos. Like, he could have been even more OP in the movie, but they didn't have the.
I wanted the Thanos copter.
Absolutely. Fuck yeah. He showed up to Earth in the Thanos copter, dude. You want to know.
Just shows up.
Shit's getting real. Shit's getting real right now.
Earthlings, I'm here. I'm like, oh, fuck, dude. That's awesome, man. You know, it's interesting because, like, some of the stuff I can hear you saying and talking about. About it, like, I know you know your shit. Like, I do.
I actually did some of this shit. Yeah, I was possessed a couple of times. No, but like what they could have done.
Yeah, that's me. That's why they call me jaded, man. That's why the boys say I'm jaded, because I'm always like, nah, fuck that movie. It's stupid. They're like, for reals, dude. For reals. Like, right now they have a Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion is going on Disney Plus right now, streaming service. We're on episode 2. I saw the second episode, and I am dying on how bored that fucking
it looks so fucking.
Yeah, the wife's texting me. It's lag. You don't know what's going on. He goes, yeah, I know. I saw that. I think it's the Illuminati. They talk too much.
It's Marvel. They know I'm talking shit.
They're releasing too much shit.
Yeah, they're like fucking crispy. God damn it! We only slag his shit on Fridays. I'm getting a letter. It's a good. I only know this motherfucker does the show on Fridays. Where's he at Thursday? God damn it!
it's a good thing. It's a good thing I didn't ask you. You know who you voting for, Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg?
Okay, that's what
in
you're
the
gonna call the
big fight.
podcast for
No,
today.
are you talking about the fight?
Yeah,
I'm excited for both of that shit, dude. Why? Because
who's your guy? Who's your guy in the fight?
I mean, both of them suck.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, dude. But the thing is like, what's cool is like, okay, so Mark Zuckerberg, I wouldn't say like 5-6 months ago, picked up Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu on his own. Started going competing openly and all this stuff. It's kind of like Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy, you guys see him in jiu-jitsu tournaments, right?
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Like it's cool because I like that. It's jiu-jitsu is a really good sport, very like a man version of chess. Kind of gets you in there, makes you sweat. You got Cinco MMA, right?
Got Del Gomez saying, "Sorry guys, I am late, but I am here." He goes, "I got money on Elon."
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the thing. A lot of people they have their pick and choose. I'm just excited to see these guys go out there on their own. Like being a person in combat, like going out there and choosing to get punched in the face is not an easy thing. You know what I mean? So
Especially
to see that from these two guys, again, this is that appetite for thrill that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And these two guys have the money. They do whatever they want, but they're going to choose to do this because
they've chosen violence.
Dude.
So
they've done it all.
And Guzman saying, "That's Chris, right? I see he got a haircut."
Gotta pull back. I look like a serial killer.
Why is he looking like a very Mexican in any movie?
Looking at that one, what's that one Mexican guy that comes out in all the films? The bald guy that's in all the fucking Fast and the Furious movies, Hector. Hector, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Thanks, though, man. Thank you for appreciating that.
Thanks for noticing, dude.
Thanks for noticing, Chew.
Yeah, but I do have to give a shout out to your wife about the way that she understands the concept that's the struggle, is that multiverse and the timeline stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask her if she's listening to the show.
Right.
In all of film history, what has been your favorite time traveling story? Like how they put it out there. Like, is it Back to the Future?
Right.
I don't even know. The Benjamin Button. I don't know.
Terminator.
On mine, I think I would be Back to the Future. I really enjoyed.
Yeah, Back to the Future was really fun.
Pretty cool, fun to watch. It was entertaining and comedy all in. Like I said,
because I like
we're getting lost. Wow, we're still lagging, bro. They really want to kick me off here.
Obviously, the podcast knows that it's gone on too long.
Right? No. There's people are going on there. They're talking too much. They're letting out too many secrets. So.
Yeah. The Illuminati.
The Illuminati. No, I'm just joking, man.
Yeah, no. We're cool.
We're cool.
That's a podcast.
Fix that internet.
That's a podcast, man.
No, but like that's always been an interesting thing because like right at the very beginning of Endgame and Infinity War, they automatically busted the idea that Back to the Future isn't right.
Right.
So they threw that out real quick, and they were like, "No, it doesn't work that way." And that's when I was like, "Eesh!" Like the time traveling that they do in those films is good because then you get into like the Dragon Ball Z time travel, which is like Trunks comes from the future, tells how to save Goku, goes back to the future, and the shit's still the same. Yeah, like no one survives because everyone's just already dead in that timeline.
That
and
just
it was very
like
confusing.
Irritates me no end because like
Guzman saying it's Skynet that's fucking with
Skynet. Once we started talking about time travel and Elon, all of them are attacking us. But yeah, that's kind of like what it is like time travel is always a very complicated thing. And then when you add multiverse, even more complicated.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Loki's like, oh, the timeline. Oh, but if you fuck up even more of the timeline, then you realize there's the timelines.
Yes.
And now the time travel situation doesn't even matter. Because it
affects the multiverse now.
Yeah, because then once you affect that and you bring the multiverse into it, then basing it off of like quantum physics, right? Quantum physics.
Mm-hmm.
It's once something deviates in the sense of a choice, you make quantumly in your head, like over like in 30 minutes, you'll make 80 decisions. And that's multiverses that are created from that one moment. You know what I mean? Yeah, so why does time travel even factor when you have so many different variations of like, oh, well, these all are different timelines. Exactly. And it's like, dude, who the fuck cares then? Like if I go back, so the Flashpoint Paradox, of course, if you got to go see the Flash, go check it out.
I haven't seen it yet, man. I've been hearing good
It's
bad and good reviews on it.
I got to see it. Our friend EC Productions works with allowing people to do free early showings. Mm-hmm. They give tickets, and I had the opportunity to sign up for a list, and they sent me some free tickets.
Awesome.
I got to feel all red carpet and shit, but I didn't get to tell us really piece of shit. But one day, I got to show up. I got to watch it, and it was awkward. It was awkward because that suffers from a lot of the Marvel situations where it adapts assets from the Flashpoint Paradox movie, where the Flashpoint Paradox comic book is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
But they adopt just enough that it ruins the opportunity for us to ever get a Flashpoint movie done correctly.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like everyone's excited and they're like, yeah, man, that's like from Flashpoint Paradox and this and that. And it's like, yeah, but we're never going to get that masterpiece. Like they fucked it up. They fucked it up.
Right.
Yeah, that's like I'm going to take you to a steak dinner and I buy a bunch of like $5 steaks from Walmart and you're kind of like, oh shit. And I'm like, well, it's still a steak dinner.
Bro, really? Is it really fucked up? Wow.
I wonder why it's doing that.
Wow. Is this because he's saying Guzman saying, I swear the lag is horrible. I feel like I'm watching a Chinese movie now.
Oh no.
I see the lips moving, but I don't hear sound.
Are you getting the little icon on the top?
Yeah, it's popping up over here in the corner. Like, what the hell?
It's the podcast guys.
The podcast guys.
I mean,
it's back. But guys, thank you for watching. I'm gonna cut it short, man. I know there's a lot more we can talk.
I think we better cut.
Yeah, because I think the ghost in the studio is pissed off already.
If that door opens one more time, dude, I swear to baby Jesus.
I think the ghost likes Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh yeah.
No.
You see, look what you did. Yeah. Look what you did.
Every time you mention Thor: Love and Thunder, he just fails.
Oh my god.
Disney comes. Disney's coming for us.
Social medias, man, so they can reach out to you.
If you guys want to look me up, I'm Crispy from the Average Boys podcast. Crispy Plays. Crispy the Average Boys on Instagram. The Average Boys podcast we do live every Friday night starting at 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Facebook Live. And then, of course, Spotify and all your other podcasting needs. We're all over the place. Also, I do graphics design, illustration, advertisements for companies, photography, but not in your underwear, so you're good and safe. I can do it on all different versions. I can do photography for regular stuff too. Right. And ladies, anything for your art needs. Ladies, anything for your art needs, I'm available. So hit us up, man, and hopefully we can see you on the show.
He says he also have an OnlyFans, but we can get to that later. Make sure you look for him there. He shows his feet.
I got OnlyFans, and my OnlyFans is just me telling fucking Marvel people they could go eat their ass. Marvel and DC people.
Ass, DC.
It's just me bashing the Illuminati, dude.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the podcast. Sorry for the lag. I'm hoping if you are listening to it, you're the lucky ones to hear the great interview today, man. Appreciate you coming out, Chris.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Chu, any last words?
Illuminati sucks.
Yeah.
It's not true. Any last words?
I mean, get your shit together, Marvel.
Please.
Great.
For
We went off the air again.
For the love of God.
Please.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the podcast with you. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Sign us off, Chu.
I've been Chu.
And I'm moving like always. Latest Gator!